My entitled son disowned me after a fight with his stepfather. It's been 5 years he is married and has a child but didn't include me and refused to reconcile. So I contacted his 10-year-old stepson and told him to arrange a meeting with his ungrateful stepfather and give me my grandchild. Now my son has filed a restraining order against me. I 53F have been estranged from my son 26 meters for 5 years. It still feels surreal to type that out. It's been 5 years since I've heard his voice in person. 5 years of being shut out of his life like I meant nothing. And now there's a child involved, my granddaughter, who I haven't even met. For some background, I raised my son alone. His father was gone before he could walk. I did the best I could with what I had, and he never went without a roof over his head, food, clothes, or anything. I worked 2 jobs at times to make it happen. I was mom and dad, and I did it alone. I thought we were close. He was my entire world, and for a long time, I thought I was his. Everything started to fall apart 5 years ago when I remarried. My ex-husband and my son never really got along, but I never thought it was anything serious. Just normal tension. My son was around 21 at the time and still living at home. He and my then-husband got into a disagreement. I honestly can't even remember what the fight was about because it escalated so fast. All I remember is my son yelling, my husband yelling back, and then my son packing his things that same night and walking out. I thought it would blow over in a few days. It didn't. After that night, my son barely answered my calls or messages. He said he needed time. When I tried to talk about the fight and asked him to come home and be civil, he just said he was done. I'll admit, I cried every night for weeks. I was confused and heartbroken, but I didn't want to push him away further. So I gave him space. That space became 5 years. He moved in with his then-girlfriend, now wife, 25F. He blocked me on everything except Facebook Messenger. That's the only way I've been able to try to reach him, and even that goes unread. I've never even met his wife in person. I don't know what she's like, what kind of person she is, or if she's even aware of everything I did for him growing up. For all I know, she thinks I was some absentee mother, which couldn't be further from the truth. What's worse is about 2 years ago, I found out through a mutual acquaintance that they had a baby, a little girl, my first and only grandchild, and I've never seen her, never held her, never even been sent a photo, nothing. Completely cut out like I never existed. Like I'm not this child's grandmother. Do you know what it feels like to find out you have a grandchild through Facebook? The same way you find out someone from high school got engaged. And then to never get a single follow-up, not even a text. I've sent messages over the years, birthdays, holidays, milestones, just thinking of you messages, long paragraphs, short ones, photos of old memories. I never get anything back. Sometimes I wonder if they even get delivered, but I know they do. I see this sent confirmation. It's the silence that kills the deliberate silence. This week, I cracked. I've been holding it in for too long, watching other grandparents post pictures with their grandkids at the park, at the zoo, during family holidays. It made something inside me snap. I made a post on Facebook, a public one. I didn't mention him by name, but I said how hard it is being a mother who gets forgotten, how ungrateful some people can be when you've sacrificed everything for them. I admitted I raised my son alone, kept him fed and clothed when I barely had enough for myself, and even let him live at home into his 20s rent-free. And how he still turned his back on me. I wrote that some people don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. A few friends and relatives commented, expressing sympathy. Some messaged me privately saying they were sorry and that they hoped he'd come around. But nobody could give me what I wanted. A real answer, an explanation, a reunion, a chance to meet my granddaughter. That same day, I went down a rabbit hole of looking through their profiles, mostly his wife's. She keeps her page semi-private, but I could see some public posts. That's when I noticed her older son from a previous relationship has his own social media now. He's only 10, maybe a little young for social media. Who am I to judge? It was the only link I had. Before you jump down my throat, let me be clear. I wasn't aggressive. I wasn't inappropriate. I just sent the boy a message, one message saying hello, and asking if he could please let his mom or stepdad know that I was trying to get in touch, that I just wanted to talk, that it was important. I told him he didn't have to do anything else, just pass the message along. I didn't think it was out of line. I wasn't trying to overstep. I was desperate. At this point, I've been denied any route of communication. His wife doesn't accept messages from non-friends. My son doesn't reply. What was I supposed to do? Just keep sitting here hoping one day they unfreeze me from their lives. A few hours later, I finally got a response from my son, but not what I hoped for. His message wasn't even a greeting. Stop contacting us. You ruined my life. Leave me and my family alone. I sat there staring at those words like I got punched in the stomach. Ruined his life. What the hell does that even mean? I was a single mother, not a monster. I worked myself to the bone to keep him afloat. I never hit him. I never threw him out. I didn't even pressure him to pay rent when he was living in my house as an adult. I gave him everything, every scrap of love and support I had left. And now I'm being told I ruined his life. He threatened to file a restraining order if I contacted them again. Let me be clear, I have never harassed them, never stalked, never shown up at their home, never even raised my voice in a message. All I've done is try to get answers, try to be a mother, try to be a grandmother. When I told him that a mother's love doesn't stop, that it shouldn't be this easy to cut someone out, especially your own mother, he left me on read. And yes, I know messaging the boy might have been a boundary, but I didn't know what else to do. When you've been ignored for 5 years, when you haven't even seen your grandchild's face, when nobody will even give you the decency of an explanation, what options do you have left? So now I'm sitting here wondering how it got to this point, wondering if I really was such a bad mother, wondering if I'm just supposed to disappear quietly and pretend none of this matters, wondering if being cut off like this is really okay. If this is just how families work now, I don't even know if I should feel ashamed or angry or defeated. Maybe all of it, maybe none of it. I thought about sending another message, thought about apologizing, even though I still don't know what exactly I'm supposed to apologize for. I thought about defending myself, laying out everything I did for him again, reminding him how he used to come home crying when kids teased him for not having a dad and how I stayed up comforting him, how I made birthday cakes from scratch when we couldn't afford bakery ones, but none of that seems to count anymore. He didn't say you hurt me or you disappointed me, or I wish things were different. He said I ruined his life. That's not something you say lightly to someone who raised you. That's the kind of thing people say when they're trying to end something completely. And still, I don't know what crime I committed. Is it because I didn't side with him during the argument with my ex? He never told me what actually set him off. I wasn't even in the room for most of it. By the time I stepped in, voices were already raised. My ex said my son disrespected him. My son said my ex provoked him. I tried to calm them down, but it was over within 10 minutes. Then he was packing his bags and walking out. That was it. That's what blew up our family. Since then, I've tried asking him multiple times. What did I do? He either ignores the question or tells me, you already know. But I don't. That's the honest truth. I'm not playing dumb and I'm not trying to manipulate anything. I genuinely don't know what line I crossed. And without knowing that, how am I supposed to fix anything? There's something incredibly cruel about cutting someone out of your life while refusing to tell them why. It's not just silence, it's punishment. And now there's a child involved. A child who shares my blood, who has my smile, maybe, who probably doesn't even know I exist. It's not just that I haven't met her. I haven't seen a photo, not a birthday post, not a Christmas snapshot, not a blurry candid. I have no idea what her voice sounds like. I don't even know her name with 100% certainty. I heard it through someone else. I asked one mutual family member if they knew anything. They told me, he says he's protecting his daughter from me. Me, the woman who gave birth to him, raised him, and held his hand through every scraped knee and heartbreak. I'm the threat now? So when he told me to leave him alone or he'd get a restraining order, I knew what that meant. It wasn't a warning. It was a wall being built. A message, you are no longer part of this family. You don't get to ask questions. You don't get to show up. You don't get to explain. And yes, I know some people will say I crossed a line by messaging the 10-year-old. Fine. Maybe I did. But when every door is slammed in your face, sometimes you knock on the window. I wasn't trying to drag a child into adult drama. I just needed someone to hear me, to pass a message. That's it. It's not like I was demanding to show up at their house or asking the boy for photos or addresses. I just asked him to tell his mom or stepdad that I wanted to talk. I used the only door they left unlocked, and now I'm being treated like a stalker. I know people are going to say, maybe there's more to the story. Of course there is. But how am I supposed to tell that story when I've been shut out of it? How am I supposed to defend myself when I've never been told what I'm defending against? All I have is silence and distance. And you know what? I'm angry. I am. I feel betrayed. I feel discarded. I feel like I gave everything, and in return, I've been erased. And what makes it worse is watching them live their happy little curated life online. All the family photos, the grateful captions, the vacation smiles. Meanwhile, I'm the mole they conveniently cropped out. I'm the shadow they never mentioned. This didn't need to be like this. I wasn't perfect, but I never deserved this level of exile. I would have done anything to be in their lives again. I still would, but he made it clear. Contact them again and he'll involve the law. He doesn't want to talk, doesn't want closure, doesn't want to reconnect. He wants me to disappear. I don't know how to process that. I don't know how to accept that my only child wants me gone, that I'll never be part of his family, that I'll never get to hold my granddaughter, watch her grow up, or hear her call me grandma. I know some of you are going to be brutal in the comments. I expect it. I'm not asking for hand-holding. But before you judge me, before you tell me to move on or that I brought this on myself, just ask yourself what you'd do if your own child ghosted you without an explanation. If you saw them smiling in photos with their new family while pretending you never existed, if your granddaughter was out there living her life and you weren't even allowed to know her, would you really just stay silent forever? Because I couldn't, and now I don't know what's left to do. I've been labeled toxic, controlling, and manipulative, all words he's thrown around without ever sitting down and telling me what I actually did. I don't even have the tools to fix this because I've been locked out of the room where the damage was done. I know I've made mistakes, but exile, erasure? That feels extreme. So, Ada. Comments. Comment 1. Uda. First off, you leave children alone. It is absolutely unacceptable to contact a 10-year-old for something like this. Second, I think you do understand why your son went in C. You just don't accept it. You think you're owed access to his life, his child, and his wife, regardless of how he feels or what he's expressed. That's not love. It's entitlement. You want to believe this is all about one fight with your ex-husband, but 5 years of silence tells me there's way more to it, and you either don't remember or don't care. Either way, the outcome is the same. Your son wants nothing to do with you, and he's made that crystal clear. Comment 2. Wow. Uda completely. Involving a 10-year-old you've never met, that's straight up crossing a line. I don't care how desperate you are. Take the hint. You screwed up so badly your kid would rather raise his daughter without any grandparent than let you back in. That should tell you everything. You say you're confused, but every sentence in this post reeks of manipulation and self-pity. Calling him ungrateful, making public Facebook posts to shame him, and then contacting a literal child. If I were him, I'd block you too. You need a truckload of therapy and a hard look in the mirror. Update. I honestly didn't expect this kind of hate. I came here to get advice, not to be told I'm a stalker or a manipulator or a monster for doing what any mother would do, try to reach her child. The fact that people are acting like I contacted a child for some dark twisted reason is beyond disgusting. That's not what happened. And people twisting it into something it wasn't is why so many parents just suffer in silence. Let me be clear, I am not some lunatic showing up at their door, harassing them daily, or tracking them. I sent one message, to a 10-year-old. Yes, and I get now that some of you think that was inappropriate. Fine. But he has his own social media public. He's out there posting photos, using emojis, and commenting on public posts clearly not being monitored. I wasn't the first adult to message him, and I'm sure I won't be the last. So let's not pretend I hacked into a private diary. My message was respectful. I simply asked if he could let his mom or stepdad know I was trying to get in touch. That's it. I didn't pour my heart out to him. I didn't drag him into anything emotional. And I didn't send paragraphs I asked him to pass on a message. And now I've got people saying I'm a danger to children. For what? For not having any other options left. You people act like I had 20 other ways to contact my son and chose to go through a child just for fun. What was I supposed to do? Send a carrier pigeon? I don't have his number. He blocked me everywhere. His wife blocked me. They don't answer emails, and they don't respond to letters. Facebook Messenger was all I had, and even that was ignored for years. I sent one message through the only connection still open, and suddenly I'm an asshole. Suddenly I'm a predator. It's sick how easily people throw those words around. No one here seems to care that I'm a mother who lost her only child. No one seems to ask what my son did. I've been erased from his life. I've never met my granddaughter. I wasn't told about her birth. I wasn't sent a single photo, not even an announcement, just silence. I find out I'm a grandmother from someone else's comment on Facebook. And people here tell me to respect boundaries. Like that's some magical fix. Like that phrase cancels out 5 years of heartbreak and confusion. And let's talk about these boundaries for a second, because that word keeps getting thrown at me like a weapon. What are these boundaries exactly? Where were they clearly stated? Was I ever told? Don't contact this person, and this person, or we'll consider it harassment. No. I got silence. Silence is not a boundary. Silence is punishment. People say, you must have done something for him to go no contact. Really? That's the assumption we're running with now? That kids never cut off their parents unless the parent is abusive, toxic, or dangerous. Maybe he just didn't like hearing things he didn't want to hear. Maybe he hated being told to respect the man I married. Maybe he didn't want to grow up. Maybe I didn't coddle him enough when he was 21 and fighting with my husband. That's not abuse. That's life. He's never sat down with me and said, here's what you did that hurt me. Not once. And without that, how the hell am I supposed to fix it? But you all seem fine with crucifying me while he gets to vanish and pretend I never existed. Let me ask you something. What would you do if your only child abandoned you? They blocked you, cut you off, shut you out of their life, and then had a child and didn't tell you? What would you do if 5 years passed and not one conversation happened? Would you really just light a candle and hope, or would you try something? This update isn't an apology. I'm not sorry for trying. I'm sorry that people are more outraged by the method than the situation. I'm sorry that people think I should disappear quietly and carry the guilt alone. Yes, I called him ungrateful. And I still believe that I carried him for 9 months, raised him alone, fed him, housed him, paid for his schooling, held him when he cried, drove him to interviews, let him stay at home into adulthood rent-free. I showed up every single time. And at the first major disagreement, he packs up, walks out. No goodbye, no explanation. Just a locked door and a Facebook block. I've seen parents do horrible things to their kids and still get second chances. I never laid a hand on him, never abandoned him, never withheld love. And still, I painted like some narcissist harassing a child. I'm not asking for pity. I'm asking for advice. What do I do now? I still want to see my granddaughter. I still want to have a relationship with my son. I still want to know what I did. I'm tired of guessing, tired of reading between the lines of silence. Do I send one last letter? Try to reach a family member who might talk to him? Wait another year and hope something changes? I'm open to real suggestions, not go to therapy and move on. Therapy won't bring back my family. He said he'd get a restraining order. Do I stop completely or try one final message to just ask what he wants from me? One honest message asking for clarity. I don't deserve to be hated this much. I don't deserve to be treated like I'm dangerous. And I definitely don't deserve to be cut off this way with no reasonable explanation. Comments. Comment 1. Uda, you didn't just contact a child. You crossed a massive boundary. And now you're playing the victim because your son finally said what you didn't want to hear. You didn't lose your son overnight. You pushed him away over years. And now you're shocked. He's enforcing consequences. This update just proves you're more concerned with controlling the narrative than actually owning your role. Comment to Uda. And this update only reinforces it. You're not hated for being a mother, trying to reconnect. You're being called out because you won't respect basic boundaries and keep blaming everyone else for your choices. You act like you're entitled to access your son and granddaughter because you did your job as a parent. Newsflash: love isn't a debt to collect. He said no. That's it. Leave them alone. Comment 3. This isn't about one message. It's about years of entitlement, guilt-tripping, and refusal to accept that you hurt your son, and your update is full of the same manipulative tone. You're not being punished for loving your son. You're being held accountable for ignoring his autonomy. You don't get to demand a relationship just because you gave birth to him. Let it go. Second story, can't afford to go out for my birthday. So a coworker brought me a salmon steak from his fishing trip for me to have for dinner. I kept it in the office freezer, and it was gone by 9 a.m. What's even worse is that I spent the last of my grocery money until payday on a lemon and a bottle of white wine to cook it in. Can't return the wine and I can't drink due to a medication I'm on. People effing suck. Image the empty drawer. Some of Ops comments. Top commenter: follow the smell and track that effort down. Up. Unfortunately, it was frozen and I do not own a trained bloodhound. Commenter: are you yourself a trained bloodhound by any chance? Oh, P. That's like asking a CIA agent if they're a spy, you madman. The answer will always be no. Commenter: stealing is a pretty big deal. Can't you contact upper management and look at the CCTV footage? There are no security cameras in or around the employee kitchen, unfortunately. And I just started this job recently. So it would be incredibly awkward to, make an announcement that someone stole my poverty fish. Commenter: company-wide email. Thanks to whoever stole the last bit of food I had to my name. I won't be able to eat for another X number of days. Seriously. Thank you for stealing from me. AP. I just recently started this job, and without giving too much detail, it's very blue collar. A lot of people only check their email if they're told to. It's just one of those jobs where you don't want to start out as the person who sent a mass email about a stolen piece of fish. I'm going to mention it to my manager later, but we have 2 contractor crews on site in addition to our team, so it is unlikely to be found. Commenter: at a minimum, tell the coworker that bought it. If they have more tenure and know the team better, they might be inclined to track it down. Don't do nothing. Stealing in the workplace is the worst because then everyone becomes your enemy. I did tell him and he's pissed, but he wasn't around. So he's just as clueless. Commenter: go to HR. You'd be surprised what can come from it. Whether it's a better monitoring system near the break room fridge or actually being able to find out who did it. People who steal food out of an office fridge don't deserve the job they have. AP, we don't really have HR, or at least not like in an office. Our one HR person lives in another state and doesn't know anyone from the 2 contractor crews working on site. So they'd have to go to their company's HR person, and I just don't think they're going to interrogate anyone over a piece of fish. To another commenter: trust me. It's not out of shyness. I'm quite good at making loud angry noises. But because 2/3 of the people here are temporary contractors and just because of the industry that I'm in, it is wiser to move quietly. I'm going to tell my boss later, but it's a bit of a circus on site right now. Commenter who keeps a frozen piece of fish at their desk for the rest of the day. AOP. There are other fridges in the dormitories and stuff. Though I honestly wouldn't put it past some of these guys to just keep working with a salmon steak in the arse pocket of their jeans. Commenter. No grocery money and cooking with wine sounds soothes to me. I get paid on Monday and had Thai food to eat ramen, pasta with butter, etc. for the weekend. I make fairly decent money, but due to a lot of unexpected bills this month, I found myself extremely tight for the last week of the pay period. It was just a matter of unfortunate timing, had money in my account, but it was already saved for other expenses, hence grocery money. The mini bottle of wine and lemon cost $8 a salmon steak of that quality and weight would have cost $25 to $30. So I said, F it. My coworker is hooking me up tomorrow. Get some ingredients and have a fancy dinner. Commenter, you spent your last bit of money on wine and a lemon. I think there are bigger issues at hand here. I had money in my account that I needed for other things. I refuse to go into my savings over salmon in this economy. EAP clarifies. My coworker said the day before he'd bring the salmon for me the next day. So after work the day before, I got the lemon and wine because I had to go into town anyway. Update 2 days later. Continued from I can't afford to go out for my birthday. So a coworker brought me a salmon steak from his fishing trip for me to have for dinner. It was gone by 9 a.m. Update. I got salmon. Let me start out by saying I expected my previous post to maybe get 50 upvotes and a few. That's what you get for leaving it in a work freezer kept comments and call it a day. Instead, I got 80k plus upvotes, 11 million views, and a flood of 2,200 plus supportive comments that honestly overwhelmed me. I wasn't even sure what to say after the first couple of hours. I don't think my phone has ever issued that many notifications in a 24-hour time period. It was surreal, and I do apologize for not updating until now. I was at work when I posted the original post, and after I got off work, my cousins showed up by surprise, and we went out to the lake for the night, well out of cell signal range. But most importantly, I got some salmon. Over 140 different Redditors reached out offering to buy me replacement salmon, which was both incredible and deeply intimidating at the same time. I was stunned and went into can't deal with this turn of events until I'm damn well alone mode. But thank you very sincerely to everyone who reached out offering. You were all incredibly kind for doing so. Ultimately, I was able to pay for it myself because I was unable to trap the feral cat. I was planning to have neutered and vaccinated on Friday afternoon. All I can say is that I live in the effing wilderness, and I need barn cats. It's a thing. But with the saved vet money, I got 2 fillets plus some salmon cat food so my good tamed cat could feel included. She got a bit of the cooked salmon as well. Because she is a good kitty, I ended up using this recipe and would highly recommend it. It forms a great crust at that exact timing on high heat. I might add cream to the sauce next time, but it was damn delicious. 10/10. I really wished I'd taken a picture of the finished product, but I was hungry and didn't even think to. But more than anything, I just wanted to thank everyone for the tidal wave of support. I was shook to my core with the unexpected levels of kindness and secondhand outrage I received. I appreciate it so much and ultimately had a great birthday. Thank you, Reddit. And to those wondering, the salmon-stealing bastard remains at large. The manager was informed and will update if justice occurs. Thanks again. Images: Image 1. Salmon steaks and cat food. Image 2. Op's birthday cake. Image 3. Screenshot of the post with insights. Cat tax. Some of Op's comments. Commenter. So you got new salmon. You didn't end up getting your original birthday salmon back, OP. No, sadly. But a coworker said he'd bring me another piece this week. Commenter. This doesn't feel like success. OP. It does to me. The ingredients I bought didn't go to waste, and I didn't have to eat ramen on my birthday. Maybe the thief will get attacked by bears who will then steal his salmon. To that same commenter who wrote a downvoted comment. Maybe the real success was the salmon we made along the way. Commenter. I am so happy to hear. I don't know why the disappointment of someone doing that on your birthday struck so hard. And I was like, why am I still thinking about the random salmon birthday theft? This is a good update. I hope in a few days, you'll tell us the thief has been caught. Oh, P. I was not expecting this to be so relatable to so many people, Lamau. But thank you. If only the thief knew how many people were lying awake at night, thinking about what he'd done. Commenter. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Someone had responded to my comment in the original post and said that you were just trying to get money out of people. And this update just made my day. There are good people out there and not everyone online is lying. Happy birthday to you. You deserve it. Hope you have the best birthday year ever. OP. Yeah. As touching as the offers were, I was never trying to take money from anyone.